Good afternoon. Welcome to MGI. This is the 5 themes of geography. So the main reason we'll talk about this is just so you guys know what the 5 themes are and some of the geographic places that we'll be talking about in this course. If you don't have a good handle on at least the area in which the region is, a lot of the topics that we cover in MGI don't make a lot of sense. So to kind of stymie that, we're going to go through this Unit 1, the global economy. Okay, and this is just, like I said, this PowerPoint is on the 5 themes of geography. So the 5 themes of geography are location, place, region, movement, and human environment interaction. Okay, I'll talk in more depth in the coming slides about what each one of those is. So location is where something is, and there's different ways to describe location. There's absolute location, like specific coordinates on a map, okay, the latitude and longitudinal lines. Okay, the latitude lines run east and west, and they measure north and south, okay, of the equator. Okay, the longitudinal lines run north and south, so they're up and down, and they measure east and west of the prime meridian. A relative location is where something is located in relation to something else. So it could be next door, it could be close to the Sonic, next to McDonald's, right by CVS, okay, next to the post office. Okay, that would be relative. So you have, with location, there's absolute, which is the actual latitude and longitude coordinates, and then relative, which is relative to something else. Okay, and here are the latitude and longitude lines for the United States. Okay, these lines that go up and down, okay, are the longitude lines. These lines that go east and west are the latitude lines. So if you're talking about Missouri, just think about what the latitudinal and longitudinal lines are for Missouri. So if you look, okay, the first one would be how far north or south of the equator it is. So if you look here, Missouri would be between 35 and 40 north, so probably somewhere around 37 to 39, and then it would be about 92, 93 degrees west. Okay, place is an area that is defined by giving everything in it. Okay, all places have features that give them personality and distinguish them from other places. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with like the culture of a place. So what distinguishes Kansas City from other places? We have the Chiefs, we have the Royals, we have the Plaza, we have Union Station, Kauffman Center. Okay, all of those distinguish the place of Kansas City from other places. And then you have region. Okay, region is an area that is defined by certain similar characteristics. And the characteristics could be physical, like mountainous, desert. It could be natural. It could be human, so anthropological differences or cultural differences. So Missouri is considered to be in the Midwest region of the U.S. And here's some regions, some world regions. Obviously, we're in North America. You have Meso and South America, Sub-Saharan Africa, Northern Africa, Europe, okay, so on and so forth, as you can see with this map. Okay, so these are different global regions. Okay, here's some more global regions. Okay, Central America is considered a region, Southeast Asia, South Asia, so on and so forth. Okay, and then you have regions of the United States. So the Northeast, the Southeast, the Southwest, the Midwest, and the West. And there's obvious differences, physical, cultural, natural differences between each of these regions. And that's not to say that there's not similarities between them as well, but there are some differences that geography will distinguish between, because geography is more of a science than most of the stuff that we will talk about. In this class, economics and geography are kind of more social sciences than the historical stuff that we will talk about and the political stuff. Okay, movement refers to the way people, products, information, and ideas move from one place to another. So a movement could be local or global. Okay, examples of movement could be people immigrating, people leaving, products being imported, brought in, or exported. So what are some examples of movement in and around Lee's Summit that you guys can think of? Obviously, Lee's Summit is heavily service-based, but you could say cars are bought and sold in Lee's Summit. Products move from the grocery store to homes. They move from other states to the grocery stores. You could talk about a lot of different things with movement in and around Lee's Summit. Even tourism to some extent in Lee's Summit with sporting events. Human-environment interaction. So it looks at the relationships between people and their environment, so how people adapt to the environment and how they change it. In the city of Lee's Summit, and I've lived here my whole life, when I was a younger kid, Lee's Summit was not nearly developed. There was a lot of farmland. There wasn't much industry. There was only one high school. Okay, not nearly as many houses. And in the last 20 years, okay, Lee's Summit has really grown. Okay, there's a lot more restaurants, shopping opportunities, big box stores like Walmart and Target, malls, lots more housing. Okay, so the human interaction environment, people have changed the landscape in Lee's Summit. Now, as far as how people have adapted to the environment, you could use stuff like people have started using solar power, wind power. Because of traffic, we've gotten, Uber and people use services like that to drive. So both of those are parts of human environment interaction. Okay, there's a lot of different facets of this, and you can look at it a lot of different ways. So geographic locations, kind of back to the basics. There's 7 continents: North America, South America, Australia, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Antarctica. Okay, and there's 4 major oceans: the Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic, and the Indian. And then some people will say there's 5 oceans: the Antarctic Ocean. So here's just a picture of the 7 continents. So it's important to know what these are. So you have the Americas, Asia, Europe, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. Okay, geographic locations in the U.S. You have the Rocky Mountains, the Appalachians, Mississippi River, Missouri River, the Great Lakes. Okay, you got the 50 states and the capitals. Okay, there's a lot more geographic locations in the U.S. These are kind of some of the more major ones. Okay, Mississippi River Basin. Okay. And this just illustrates, so the Appalachians are here. Okay, these are the Great Plains. You have the Rocky Mountain region. Okay, over here you have the Coastal Range and the Cascade Range, which goes up into Canada. You have the Gulf of Mexico, would also be one of the major geographic locations in the U.S. For us here in Missouri, the Ozark Plateau and the Ozark Lake the Ozarks, okay, all the lakes that are in Missouri would be geographic locations within Missouri. Okay, and then you have the Boot Hill, which starts getting into the hilly, almost mountainous ranges that are down in Arkansas. Modern nations in the Middle East. So Central and Southwest Asia and portions of North Africa are considered kind of the Middle East. So Egypt, Sudan, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, Lebanon, Turkey, Afghanistan, Pakistan, the UAE, Kuwait, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Those are all part of the Middle East. Okay, and then here's a map of the Middle East. So the Middle East is all of this basic region here. Okay, it can be considered parts of the Middle East. Okay, the modern nations in Asia. Okay, so that'd be Southwest Asia, the South Pacific, and South Asia. You have Burma, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Russia, China, Nepal, India, Japan, and the Philippines. And that's all of this area here. And Nepal is all the way over here. And the Philippines are down here. And most of the other ones I think you guys are, for the most part, familiar with. Modern nations in Africa. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones. South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Madagascar, Malawi, Chad, Niger, Nigeria, Cameroon, Gabon, Burundi, Central African Republic, Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Okay, Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, Western Sahara, Mauritania, Liberia, Mali, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Benin, Burkina Faso, Gambia, Senegal, and here's Africa. There's a lot of different countries in Africa. And then in Europe, and when you look at the countries of Africa, they're going to be much larger than the countries of Europe. So you have Ireland, the UK, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Romania, Slovenia, Croatia, Hungary, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Poland, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Portugal, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, Austria, and France. Okay, so the United Kingdom is going to be Scotland, Wales, England, Bulgaria, Albania, Macedonia, Greece, Ukraine, Belarus, Latvia, Iceland, Russia, Moldova, Lithuania, Finland, and Estonia. And then here's Europe. You have Latin America, Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Guyana, Colombia, Venezuela, Suriname, Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, Cuba, Ecuador, Chile, and Panama. And those are all the geographic regions. So just to kind of reiterate, okay, a lot of this is about the location of countries, and that is because when we talk about these places, it's nice to know, or at least have an idea of where they are, so that what we're talking about makes sense. Okay, for this, I want you to know that, and then keep in mind the 5 themes of geography: location, place, region, movement, and human environmental interaction, and at least be able to vocalize what those are and explain what they are. So you might have to go back through and either listen to this or look at these to kind of refresh your memory about what they are. If you need help with any of this, after you watch it, the link to the slides will also be posted. And if you have specific questions, we will talk about those at a later date. Okay, we'll talk about the first 2 notes in a discussion probably next Monday and Tuesday. All right, thank you, and have a good day.